morning. We're going to, first of all, we're just going to briefly go over the facts that we started with last night, and then we'll add some things as we go along. And I think, as you've already been told, at the conclusion of the comments, we'll start to my right. If you have questions, we'll identify you. Please don't shout questions out to us. We want to make sure that we answer your questions logically and so that everybody understands them. Last night at approximately 9:05, the Charleston County Consolidated Dispatch received a call for a shooting that occurred at the Emmanuel AME Church on Calhoun Street in downtown Charleston. Charleston police units were immediately dispatched and arrived at that location. When we did, we initially identified 8 victims inside of the church that had suffered gunshot wounds. Earlier, we told you that there were 2 victims that were transported to MUSC. There was actually 1 victim that was transported to MUSC, and that individual is deceased as well. So we have a total of 9 victims that were involved in this very tragic situation that occurred last night. Of the victims, there are 3 males and 6 female victims in this tragedy. As we told you last night, we have a unified command that has been set up that is comprised of the Charleston Police Department, Charleston County Sheriff's Office, State Law Enforcement Division, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and other federal agencies that are working with us. We are committed, we are determined, and we are definitely working right now with a number of agents and police officers in our region to identify the individual that we passed out to you about 1 hour ago that is the suspect in this case. This is a situation that is unacceptable in any society, and especially in our society, in our city. We are committed to do whatever is necessary to bring this individual to justice, and I am committed, and all the people that are working with us are committed to do whatever it takes to work as long as we have to. Our partners are committed. We are bringing in resources from Washington, D.C., from the FBI headquarters to help us. We've set up a hotline, as we mentioned earlier, 1-800-CALL-FBI. We have agents and police officers manning that phone. We will continue to man that phone until we've identified and arrested this suspect. It's critical that the members of the community who have seen the picture of the vehicle as well as the suspect to call law enforcement. This is a very dangerous individual. He should not be approached by anyone. Call law enforcement if you recognize the individual or the car so that we can take the appropriate action to address this situation. Again, this is a very dangerous individual, and we do not want more people harmed trying to approach him or trying to follow the vehicle if they see it. Notify law enforcement, and we will address that. We are also very concerned about the families of the victims. We have set up a family assistance center at the Embassy Suites in downtown Charleston. We have members of the Charleston Police Department Victim Advocacy Unit as well as the FBI Citizen or Victim Assistance Unit as well. I just want to say this. From the time this call came in, we had resources coming from all over the East Coast. We've got more resources that are coming in this morning from the FBI and other federal agencies. The State Law Enforcement Division has committed a significant number of resources, both their crime scene, their investigative agents, and we are not leaving any stone unturned. This tragedy that we're addressing right now is undescribable. No one in this community will ever forget this night. And as a result of that, and because of the pain and because of the hurt that this individual has caused this community, this entire community, the law enforcement agencies that are working on this are committed, and we will catch this individual. The important thing for you as the media is to help us catch this individual. You have the ability to get this picture, to get this car out to places quickly. A broad perspective of media is here, social media. Please help us to help our community.
First of all, I thank you, Chief Mullen, and members of our police department, and all of the departments who are here, the state, the FBI, the county, other jurisdictions, and the immediacy and the quality of the work of our law enforcement agencies has been inspiring. This is an unfathomable and unspeakable act by somebody filled with hate and with a deranged mind. And as Chief Mullen said, this person is dangerous. We need every tip we can get to bring this person into custody as soon as possible, and of course we'll make sure that he pays the price for this horrible act. In our community, which is a community together, people loving and respecting each other, it is a community that honors our religious institutions and respect the different cultures and beliefs. We call the Holy City, all the church spires that reach up to the sky, including Mother Emanuel AME Church, where this horrific crime occurred last night. So, of all communities, in Charleston, you have a horrible, hateful person go into a church and kill people there to pray and worship with each other is something that is beyond incomprehensible and is not explained. But this is what we can do. Now, we can catch this no-good, horrible person and see that he pays the price. And then what we will do, and what this community has always done, is we're going to put our arms around that church and that church family. This is an historic church. AME Church and the African American churches were very important, religious as well as social pieces of a fabric of society here for a few hundred years. People come to these churches to pray and worship and to support each other, help each other. And this historic church was exactly that. So what this community will do, and I've seen this great community respond to challenges before, you will see an outpouring of love and assistance and kindness and help. And these people, these citizens, these families, and the Chief and I met with them last night and hugged as many as we could. There were probably a couple of hundred in there, families and friends, weeping and distraught. Mothers and grandmothers and fathers and grandfathers were killed in their church. And we extended to them for our community, our love. So today, we're committed to finding this horrible scoundrel, but today this community is going to provide the best example of a community coming together to help those grieving because of an unbelievable event that has forever ruptured their family bond. And we will work to heal them, and love them, and support them, and that church as long as we live.
Let's start over here. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any transcripts?
For the victims, that will have to come from the coroner's office. The coroner is working right now to try to get all of that information, and as soon as she can identify the family members, she'll put that information out. But right now, obviously, our biggest concern is making sure that family members are communicated with first. Okay? Yes.
A lot of the streets around the site have been open. Does that mean the suspect is likely not in the downtown area? Where do you think he may be?
We don't have any information about any specific location. If we did, that's where we would be. So we need for the whole community to be vigilant. That's why we got the information out about the vehicle and the picture. Hopefully, with all the officers that we have out in the community, in the region, as well as all the citizens, we'll be able to identify that vehicle and the suspect. Yes, ma'am.
The flyer from this morning says 8 p.m. and you're saying the phone was at 9:05.
Right. The individual was actually in the church attending a meeting that was going on there and stayed there almost an hour with the group before the actual event. Yes.
Yes, sir. The mayor said you guys met with the families and talked to a lot of them. Can you comment on the suspect letting one woman escape?
We're not going to talk about that particular part of the investigation right
I
now.
would follow up on the bomb threat last night. Any more details on that to clear this out a little bit and
Right.
on the bomb threat? Any more
Yeah,
details?
we made sure that it wasn't a bomb last night, and we're still following up on those leads. We're not sure exactly if those are connected right now, but that's certainly something that we're following up on. Yes, sir.
You saw the shooter in the surveillance images. Can you describe his manner of walking?
We're going to send out some additional stills to you in a very short period of time. I'm not really going to comment on any kind of attitude or anything. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a number or conflict survivors outside of the church?
There were 3. Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us what type of weapon he used, what type of gun?
We're not going to talk about the forensic piece right now. We'll do that later on, but not right now. Yes, ma'am.
Are there reports that the gun that was fired could be before firing?
We're not in a position to answer that question. I don't know that. It's still under investigation. As soon as we identify either the individual that we can talk to him, we might be able to answer that question. But right now, we don't know if anyone was targeted other than the church itself. Yes, ma'am.
What indicators do you have that this was a hate crime? What starts to go over the white suspect and black victim?
Right.
What else are you going off of to see?
There's some information that has been developed in the investigation that would lead us to believe that. We're not going to put that out right now because if we do capture the individual, we want to make sure during our interview process that we're getting real information from him, not something that has been posted on the internet or either through a story. Yes, sir. We are getting phone calls in. I hope that we're getting good tips. I know the phone calls are coming in. As soon as the phone call comes in, if it's legitimate, we're sending out teams of investigators. Yes, sir.
You just said there's no reason to believe that anyone was targeted. One thing that you did mention was that the families of the victims are being put in police custody or protective services.
No, that's not police custody. Victim assistance. Whenever you have a tragedy like this, one of the things that you want to do is make sure that you offer assistance to the victim's family. No, it's just a matter, it's a grief situation, and we have our victim advocates there to assist them to go through this process.
I might just say that's an important part of police work. So we've got police chaplains and victim assistance personnel on payroll as well as volunteers. So it's a huge cadre of trained people that can quickly come to the fore as they did last night. And it was an amazing sight to see all the comforters there with all the family members, working with them to get through the most difficult time in their lives.
Yes, sir.
Just to clarify, Chief, one of the first questions you asked, are you saying that you don't believe the gunman sat in a prayer meeting with the victims for about an hour?
That's correct. That's exactly what happened. Yes, sir.
You identified him as approximately 21 years old. It's a fairly specific number. You have said 3 survivors. I'm wondering, A, if this virus can help identify him at all, and B, if you know, do you have any other information? Is he from this area?
We don't have any information specifically about the individual. That's what we're trying to develop now. In terms of the witnesses, as we develop the investigation, we'll be talking with those witnesses. Right now, we are just trying to develop the information in terms of identifying the person. Yes? Again, that's up to the coroner. In the state of South Carolina, the coroner is responsible for identifying not only the victims to the families, but also to the public. So she'll be identifying those individuals as soon as she possibly can. Yes, ma'am.
You're warning people in this area to be careful and watch out for him. What about areas where we're south of here, like up and down 17 or Beach, Savannah?
What we're doing is asking everybody to be vigilant. We don't know where this individual is, so wherever you are, that's why we're asking the media to get this information out as broadly as possible, and we're sending this information out to all of our law enforcement partners up and down the East Coast and throughout the United States, because we don't know where this individual is right now. So everybody needs to be vigilant. Everybody needs to be aware of their surroundings, and if they see anything at all that's suspicious, they need to call 911 and let law enforcement come out and address that situation.
And one more, do you have traffic cameras that you've been able to check up and down?
Investigators are going through all kinds of video right now and trying to identify any private or public video, so that's part of the investigation that will be ongoing for a while. Yes?
Following up on her question, what do you say to people that plan to come into the city in this area this weekend and maybe have their second thoughts this morning after seeing where things are right now?
Right. Well, what I would say is that there's law enforcement officers throughout this area, not only in the downtown area, but throughout the region. Now, we're going to be out working hard to make sure not only that we identify and arrest the suspect that was involved in this situation, as well as making sure that all the people that live and visit here are safe. So we're working hard to do that. We're going to continue to do it. We've got lots of resources out, not only from the city of Charleston, Charleston County, SLED, the FBI. We're all going to be out making sure that the community is as safe as it can be. Okay, 2 more questions. Who I haven't gotten to? Back here.
How are you guys doing? You guys been on all night? I mean, how's your guys' energy? I mean,
Thank you for asking that question. The officers are they're energized. They're tired. They're energized though, because they take this personal. They take somebody coming into our city, going into a church, sitting down with people who are praying and exercising their religious beliefs, and murdering them. We're going to get through it, and we're going to keep pushing, and we're going to take care of our own. But thank you for asking. Right here.
Have you asked the survivors whether they have?
That's part of the investigation, and we've talked with the survivors, and we will continue to talk with the survivors. Last question right here.
You mentioned this is being investigated.
That's correct.
What would that look like? Is that just incorporating other agencies?
Right. Well, basically what that does, if it's a hate crime, there's specific elements that could make it a federal prosecution. And one of the things that we look at when we do those types of investigations are motivation. You know, what is the motivation behind the crime? And if it is in fact a hate crime, and in this case, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that it is a hate crime. And what that does is allow us to work more closely with our partners from the federal prosecution as well as investigation. So as we go through this, we will look at all of those elements, and if it meets the criteria for the U.S. Attorney's Office, which I am confident that it will, then we have other options in terms of when we start looking at prosecution. All right, thank you very much. We will be back and update you as we have information, okay? Thank you so much.